Okay. The background is noisy. This is also a different background because moved houses once again, but this is an important video and it's a video that needs to be made. And so yeah, I am ready to be super vulnerable and just talking about singleness, but like all the things that like people don't say and the church doesn't say about singleness, because singleness is hard. And so let's get into it. What an intro. Oh my gosh. Okay. But yeah, hi friend, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zoe. I am a single almost 21-year-old lady living in South Africa, and just I am trying to be more consistent with videos, but I want to create these videos to be someone, to be that older or younger person that someone needs, that I never had, kind of like big or little sis. And so yeah, welcome to my channel. Would you consider subscribing, sharing this video? I would so appreciate it. But yeah, let's talk about singleness. And I think for so long I have only ever made one other singleness video. I've had a blog, podcast, Instagram, all of that, and I have honestly always intentionally strayed away from making videos about singleness. I think because singleness and dating, actually, because I've just never felt qualified enough. I've been single my entire life. I'm going to be 21 in September. I've been single my entire life except for like a 2-week blip, which really doesn't count at all. And also in that, like, it's always been like crickets, if that makes sense. It's always been my dating like crickets. And so I've never felt qualified to speak about singleness, to speak about dating, because like I've always felt like I have no experience, and I don't want to talk about it, you know. I don't know, I've just always had that fear of talking about it, but it is so important, and so I really want to talk about it, you know, and talk about all the harder aspects that people don't talk about enough. You know, some people do, and I'm so grateful for them, but some people don't, and so I wanted to open up that conversation. And what prompted me actually is that for just so long, like I said, it's always just been like crickets, like truly, like no one that I was dating, no one, not going on dates, nothing, you know. And then recently, I just was so reminded of the value of singleness. And the thing is, like, as a single person, you have such an opportunity to speak into friends' lives as well. When you're dating, that's different, because you are, yes, technically still single, but you're dating, you're in a different season now. When you're engaged, when you're married, like yes, you can speak into the single season, and you should, but like it's hard to relate as a single person to someone telling you about their singleness when they were married at 21, you know, or when they've been married for like 5 years or whatever, or when they've been dating someone for 5 years. Like, yes, you'll hear that advice, but it's not as impactful and powerful as someone who is right there alongside you, who is also single. And so yeah, I'm gonna look down because my paper's here. I've got a couple of points to speak on. And so the very first thing is just that singleness is hard. I think people don't say this enough. And it's okay to say that it's hard, but singleness is hard, man. Like it really is hard, and you go through ebbs and flows, and sometimes it feels easier, sometimes it doesn't, but singleness is hard, and being alone is hard, you know. Not being lonely, yes, like being surrounded by community, which is something which I'll get into, but singleness is hard, and it's a lot of working through stuff. It's sometimes a lot of dealing with loneliness and figuring that out with Jesus, you know. It's hard, and it's hard seeing people in relationships, you know. It's hard going through December, seeing everyone going to their boyfriend or girlfriend's family and doing vacations and stuff like that. Like, that is hard, and it's okay to acknowledge that that's hard, you know. And I'm here to acknowledge that, like, if you've been struggling with that, that's okay. And I think oftentimes people like there's this thing that like if you say singleness is hard, it's you being discontent and struggling with being content in your singleness, and it's just saying like, no, it's just hard, and that's something that's okay to say. And so I would encourage you, if you're really struggling with that, like reach out to friends, reach out to people who are close to you, reach out to community, because that's another thing, is this is such a beautiful time to get plugged into community. In that difficultness, it's such a time to get plugged into community. And by you speaking out, you don't know, like your friends could be going through the exact same thing, your single friends as well. Like to reach out and say like, hey, I've really been struggling with my singleness, have you been struggling too? Or like, hey, I've really been struggling with my singleness, let's go do something together, you know. Like reach out to community. But yeah, singleness is hard. And something also so important is that in those really difficult moments, and in those seasons where it feels like you have more difficult moments than easier moments, I'd encourage you to reach into Jesus. You know, I think, and this is my personal opinion, you can disagree, like it's so good to be content in your season, and because that's where Jesus best sees fit to have you in this time. But I don't think it's good to be complacent. Like I am in this single season, and I am actually okay if Jesus never sends me a man, never sends me anyone, but at the same time I can live with the hope that actually, like, I want to be in a relationship and married, and live in that tension of like, it's hard and I don't want to be in this season, but I'm still gonna praise God for it anyway. You know, like you can be in a season where you don't like it, and I think sometimes Christians want to say like, you know, if you don't like it, that's fine, just put on a happy face, pretend you don't like it. Like if you don't like it, you don't like it, but what are you gonna do about it? You know, press into Jesus in this time, learn to accept that this is the season that he sees fit, or even ask him like, Lord, what do you want me to learn in this season? If this season is the rest of my life, what do you want me to do with it? You know, like all these things. And so I don't think you have to be like happy that you're single, but you should get to the point where you're content that this is where Jesus sees fit for me to be. And so I'm going to be content to that, and be content in him, and be content that God knows my heart and knows me best, you know. And so don't be content in yourself, be content in God and what he's doing in your life, and get to that point where this is another one of those single cliches, and it's hard, but get to that point where it's okay if you are single for the rest of your life. You know, like you have to be okay with singleness and yourself and being single for the rest of your life, even if that's a struggle, even if you're okay with it some days and not other days. Like get to that point, and press into Jesus in the really hard times. That's so beautiful. You can press into him, you can grow deeper in him, you can really develop that relationship. And so yeah, I think that's the first thing, and I was going to do this in order, but I just have to say I hate that saying that people say like, once you get content, a relationship will come. And that may be the case, and it truly like is that way, but I don't like it, because it creates this thing of like, of that like singleness, you have to work towards a relationship. And the truth is, I'll put the verse up on the screen, but Paul calls singleness a gift, and you don't have to earn a gift, right? You don't have to work towards a gift. Marriage is a gift from God. You don't have to earn a gift. Yes, you have to be at a certain place, but you don't have to earn a gift. And so here's the truth, I know someone needs to hear this today. If you are supposed to be in a relationship, you would be in one. If you're supposed to be single, or you're single because you're supposed to be single, and if you're supposed to be married right now, you would be married, but you're not because God is punishing you, not because God is trying to, you know, like test you in any specific way, and well, maybe test you, but like, you know, when I say test in any specific way, like he's kind of like dangling a carrot in front of you, and like you have to earn all these things and pass all these tests to get to marriage, and you don't have to become more content to have a relationship. No, when the Lord sees that the time is fit, he will bless you with a relationship, not based on your standings or your goodness, but based on his goodness. And so yeah, you don't have to earn marriage either. And with this though, marriage isn't the goal, Jesus is the goal. If your final goal is marriage, you need to reassess your priorities, because Jesus is the goal. He should be your reason for doing everything, not marriage. And so I really encourage you with that. And like, if you feel like, oh my gosh, and it also, that saying drives the mentality of being content for the sake of having a relationship, so that like, if I'm content, I'll get a relationship. But it should be just, actually, I'm content in Christ, and I'm content in this season, and that's okay, you know. And I think then my next point is that there can be such beauty in this singleness. I recently decided that I wanted to do a mission kind of thing with Red Frogs and go serve at the Splashy Music Festival over Easter, and I could do that. I am single, I am unattached, I did not have any priorities over Easter, and so I could do that. I could just pick up and go and put my money towards that. I am not paying to go on dates with anyone. I could do that. There are so many things that you can do because you're single. So do them. You know, I had the most incredible Valentine's Day evening with my girls and with my lovely lady friends, and we were all single, and we had no plans on Valentine's Day, and we did it, and it was incredible. And I want to do it every single year, even if I'm in a relationship. Like stuff like that. Get involved. If you are feeling lonely, find an area to serve, and especially serving, it takes the focus off you, and this is my situation, and it places it on God and his people, and to see, actually, wow, there's a hurting world out there, and yes, I'm also hurting, and I'm single, but there's so much that I can do with my time. You know, when you have a family, when you have kids, when you have a husband that you're taking care of, and that they're your first priority, you know, but besides God, they're your first priority. And so you can't just pick up and go somewhere, you can't just pick up and go on a trip, you know, you can't just do all these things. And so do fun things like that. And with that, while you're single, while you're unattached, while you have the time, get healthy, go to counseling, friend, work on generational curses and generational cycles, work on breaking those, work on dealing with things in your heart. Like, get healthy, you have the time, your heart, work on breaking soul ties with any previous boyfriends, previous relationships, maybe previous relationships where you've gone too far sexually, previous sexual partners, whatever it is. Like, work on breaking those and work on getting healthy, you know. Like, you can do it. Now is the time, and you don't want to pass things on to your children that you could have dealt with before, you know, when you had the time and when you weren't dating anyone. So do that, you know, and it doesn't always have to look pretty. It doesn't have to all be this massive thing. It can be baby things. It can just be like getting into the habit of making your bed every single day, or getting into the habit of keeping a clean room. I need to get into this habit. You know, whatever it looks like just do that, you know. Develop those while you are still single, and when you are tempted to you know, go back to like, oh Lord, look at me, I'm so single, oh my gosh, this is so hard, lean into the Lord and then do something small for yourself. You know, I have a bucket list of adventures. I think I'd actually even like credited to do like with a boyfriend or like with an SO, just adventures. But I was like, no, like these are such cool adventures that I can do by myself, and they're all like coffee shop restaurants in South Africa, and specifically Joburg. And so that's something I'm gonna do, you know, like find new places and just go to them. So stuff like that, you know, like practically when you feel in the slumps, go on a hike, you know, do it by yourself. When you feel in the slumps, like sometimes you have to sit there and process those emotions, and other times you have to tell yourself, no, like I'm alive, and yeah, it sucks right now, but I'm gonna get up and go do something. And so yeah, and I think focus on serving. I said that, serving the kingdom and building the kingdom. Discover what you want to do with your life, you know, truly, but like just focus on serving the kingdom. You can do that, you know, and when you have all this time, do it, you know. Okay, this is good. Okay, and the last thing I'll say about serving the kingdom is that most of the things that you want to do with a spouse, you can do by yourself with Jesus. And so traveling, you can do that by yourself and with Jesus, you know, and maybe with a friend. Serving, mission trips, going to dinner, like all of that, going to the movies, you can do that by yourself and with Jesus. And so yeah, most of the things that you can do with spouse, you can do with yourself and Jesus. And then a really, really, really good one is be honest in your hardships. So be honest in your hardships with your community and with Jesus. When it sucks, sit with Jesus and tell him, actually, Jesus, like, I know you have me in this season, but it sucks, you know. These past couple of weeks have been hard. I'm like, okay, Jesus, all my friends are getting engaged. That sucks, you know. Like, be honest with him. Jesus can take it. He wants you to be honest with him. Like, Jesus, I've had these dreams and I'm having to lay them down. That sucks, you know. Or Jesus, it feels like I'm meeting all these incredible people, but like none of them are interested in me. Like, have those conversations with him, and then have those conversations with your community, because they can bring such perspective, and with this, like, with good Christian Jesus loving community. And if you don't have that, what a time to find good Jesus loving community. This is a time where you can literally just go to visit random churches by yourself, you know. And so yeah, but be honest and let your community bring wisdom in and bring perspective and bring honesty and bring love into that, you know. And so yes, so good. Don't downplay your desire for marriage. This is one I do sometimes, is you know, like, you have that desire for marriage. It's there for a reason, you know. Whether it will happen or not, that's a different story, but it's there for a reason. So don't downplay that desire. But in this, then, don't make it everything. Don't downplay it, but don't make it everything. Shift your focus onto Jesus. Truly, like, let your heart be on fire for him. Find ways to serve the local church, to serve him. It truly, like, it is hard, but it can be incredibly beautiful. And I want to encourage you with that. And I think that's the whole message of this video, is that actually singleness is hard. Actually doing life like primarily by yourself is hard, but it's also incredibly beautiful. And there's such opportunity there's such opportunity for community, and there's opportunities that you wouldn't get while dating. And then the last thing, and this is so important, I think, okay, yeah, give yourself grace, keep perspective. Marriage isn't the goal, Jesus is. Also, singleness is going to be temporary. Whether you get, which it's a statistic, most people get married, but even if you don't get married, life on earth is so short compared to eternity. So either way, your singleness won't be forever. And then I think the most important thing I'd encourage you is guard your heart. Guard your heart, friend. Don't fall for any guy who shows interest. Like, your heart is so precious, and you do not want to enter into a relationship one day with fragments of your heart being given away to everyone. So guard your heart and let Jesus guard your heart, and ask him what that looks like, you know. The worst thing is for the person who you've been praying for to arrive, but you're not ready because you've been giving your heart away and you didn't spend your singleness preparing. Not that your singleness should be spent preparing for marriage, because there is life in the singleness. But yes, guard your heart, friend. Guard your heart. Everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Everything you do flows from it. And so guard your heart, friend. Oh my goodness, I cannot emphasize it enough. And then get excited for this season of singleness. Get excited even when it's hard. Get excited, lean into Jesus, do the crazy stuff, do the fun stuff. If you can go bungee jumping and you want to, do it. If you can just go on a last minute mission trip, or go on all these friendship things, like, do it, have fun, leave it, like, lay it all down at the feet of Jesus, and have no regrets about this season. And above all, guard your heart. It's so precious. And like, yes, go on dates, yes, all these things, but most importantly, like, guard your heart, and don't just let anybody come in and mess with your heart. And something just practical as well that I did that I think could be cool is I was reading, and this was the last thing, I was reading this blog post. I must have been in grade 11, which I can't even remember, from Live Original, and it was single, dating, engaged, married, and everyone in their team was either single, dating, engaged, or married. And the one girl, she was engaged, and she said when she was single, people are always so quick to say, this is my list of non-negotiables, yada yada yada. And of course there's guaranteed ones, but this lady said, when I was single, I asked God for, okay, so Lord, what is your list for my future husband? Like, what are the traits that you want and that my future husband will have and should have? And the Lord showed her a list, and so I prayed this prayer, and the Lord showed me a list, and like, what a beautiful list to see and to have. But yeah, so that could also be something that you do, and just ask the Lord when you're struggling, like, Lord, just talk to the Lord and lean into the Lord. And last thing, the man of God that God sends for you, this is specifically for my ladies. He will pursue you, and through Jesus you have been made worthy of the pursuit. And if he's not pursuing you, then he's not the one. If he's not pursuing you, especially in dating and in the beginning, when people are trying to impress you the most, he's not the one. If he's not pursuing you even in friendship, he's not the one. And that's a big statement. And don't be afraid to don't have unrealistic standards, and like, your line is up there and unrealistic standards, but then you don't hold yourself to the same standards either. But also, don't be afraid, if you know that this isn't right, don't be afraid to step away. God isn't a God of half best. He isn't a God of I believe God loves to exceed our expectations and to give us good gifts. Every good and perfect gift is from above, and so if it's not it, don't be afraid to step back. And yes, you might never date someone, or marry someone, but you might also marry someone and marry the best. Like, there'll always be, I don't know if that makes sense, like, the Lord will give you good gifts, and you don't have to worry that you'll miss out on something, and that you should stay in a bad situation just because there'll never be something better, because they will, if it's from God and if it's his will. And so, yeah, I went way over, but I hope this encouraged you. Oh my gosh, I've been meaning to film this video for ages, and I thought it would be more structured, but I never even asked the Holy Spirit for help. Holy Spirit, help. But I hope that it was encouraging, and my heart even feels so much better. And just like all my single ladies out there, you have such an incredible opportunity to speak into like your friends' lives as well who are single. Because it's way easier as a single person to relate to a single person than someone who's been married for 10 years. But truly, I hope this encouraged you, and yeah, hold on to Jesus and find hope in him. And it will happen. And if it doesn't happen, but that's the other thing, is that marriage isn't promised. And so if it doesn't happen, that's okay, because Jesus is infinitely good, and his plan for your life is infinitely better than any versions of your plan. And so I'd rather do it right and do it God's way than do it my way. Because honestly, like, if you're looking for someone to make out with, if you're looking for someone just to be a boyfriend, like, you can go out and do that. You truly could if you wanted to, if you set your mind to it. But I've realized that, like, God's plan for my life is infinitely better than any versions of or any plans of my life, and so I'm gonna hold on to that. And so yeah, with that, friend, thank you so much for watching. If you got all the way through this video, let me know down below. If you got all the way through, please answer, what is your favorite fruit? Or what fruit do you feel like eating right now? I think right now I feel like eating kiwi fruit. So yeah, that's gonna be, yeah, comment down below what fruit you feel like eating right now, and just write the fruit. Just say like kiwi fruit or banana or strawberry, whatever it is. But yeah, I so appreciate you. Let's subscribe, let's grow this channel, let's share the word. And I'm definitely trying to be more consistent. I promise there will be at least one video a month, and then hopefully work our way up to one video a week, but promise there will be one video a month. And so yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. So appreciate you, friend. Have an incredible week. Okay, bye. Whoop.